And speaking of cash, that's why we're joined here at Newsmax TV by David Scranton of Scranton Financial Group. David, you have come out talking about cash, that four-letter word that most of us like, but retirees apparently making a change in their investment portfolios, rushing now to cash. Can you explain why?
I think people have smartened up a bit over the last 14 years. When the tech bubble existed in the 1990s, what would happen was basically that we had people for a long period of time that were just trying to squeeze the last 5 or 10% gain out of the market. And the reality is they got caught in the backdraft and took nearly a 50% loss from 2002 to 2003. And then what happened again in 2007, that time they took nearly a 60% loss. So they're starting to learn that you don't always have to go for the home run. Sometimes getting a base hit is okay.
And speaking of that base hit, how does that make the translation to cash? When you liquidate, it's easier, you're more nimble financially to make a change in your investment? Or?
Well, it's a question about being nimble, but it's also a question about being prudent. You know, the market exceeded the previous record high by about 20%. And we're back at a point right now where people are really concerned because it doesn't feel right, and they kind of know it doesn't feel right, and they don't want to get stuck in that downdraft again. They've gotten back all their losses from 2009, plus more, so now they're at a point where they're basically saying, I'm happy taking some off and protecting it. I don't want to get greedy.
And what do you think? We talked about this about a week ago, about returning back to the gold standard. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't think it's possible. It would be nice in theory if we could do that, but the reality is that today, with all the fiat currency out there, there's not enough gold for us to go back to the gold standard.
And then we see a lot of people also investing again, once again, into the real estate market. A lot of people are saying we're just setting ourselves up for another bubble. Do you foresee that happening as well?
I think so. I think so. And real estate isn't my bailiwick as the stock market is. However, if
you wouldn't advise your clients, is what you're saying.
No, I think, you know, bottom line is we have nearly 200 years of history in the stock market which says there's going to be another major drop around the corner. And when that happens and people's portfolios shrink, they have less down payment money, they don't feel as confident to go out and buy a bigger home, et cetera, et cetera. So those two are somewhat tied together.
So once again, just to bring it full circle, cash is king. Retirees are making the rush there, and David Scranton, as always, from the Scranton Financial Group, we appreciate your insights and perspective, and we'll be back. We'll have you back real soon to talk about one of our favorite topics that happens to be money and making sure there's more of it in our pockets.
Well, that sounds good to me. Thank you.
Good to have you. So you hear what David is saying about what's going to become of retirees going to that marvelous four-letter word of cash. Are you ready to cash in, cash out? What's your take on it? Why don't you tweet us your thoughts at Newsmax TV, hashtag America's Forum. There's also email, connect@newsmaxtv.com. And please don't forget Facebook. You can reach us at facebook.com/Newsmax. We're coming right back on America's Forum.